Today I'll be designing a landing page on Figma and will provide instructions for you all to follow. I created a low fidelity wireframe here, as you can see, just to get an understanding of how the layout will be like for this. I created a made up company name, generated user information by ChatGPT. The main purpose of this project is to help your UI design skills. If you want to see the work before I reach this point, I can create a video about those steps as well. They touch upon UX research, analysis, and product design. Okay, so let's dive into this. I press T on my keyboard, that brings out the text field, and then I type in over there. I'm zooming in here, I'm pressing command and then just scrolling on my mouse. And here I am just changing the font weight of this. Here what I do is I command D to duplicate, and now I'm just filling in different text fields. Just taking a look at the mid-fidelity wireframe here to see what else I need. I need the company's name here. I'm changing the font type here. I think I'm using Playfair Display, increasing the font size here as well. So what I do here is I select all of those items and I make that negative 1% over there just to close out some of those gaps. I select all of those again, press Shift A for auto layout. Then I change the spacing between to auto. Then I take Deluxe Homes and then I make that a auto frame with the buy, sell, rent agents about. And then I am making that auto as well, and I give 64 padding and 32 on the top and bottom. Here I'm just playing around with the width of those items. Here I click on to buy, I make it bold, and then I add an underline to it. This is so users know that this page is selected. I'm inputting in the color scheme here that I already have in place. So I fill in that background color. I'm renaming the frame here as well to nav, which is what this is. And here I have these resources in place. So there's this image that I found online. What I've done already here is I've already cropped it. And the reason for that is because those trees, I didn't think they would fit well on a website, so I just cropped those out. As you can see over here, I just clicked on the image and then you can go into the drop down and go to the crop feature and then just crop from there. So I've placed it right below, as you can see. Now I'm adding a gradient on this by pressing the plus sign in the fill section. I'm gonna go to our color or dark blue color here that we have, and then I'm putting the white, and this is just preference. I'm playing around with the percentages over here. I think I'd stick at 50% or maybe 20%. Yeah, so this just based off of how it looks, I'm gonna stick to 1. So I end up sticking with that, and I think it looks fine so far. What I do here is I disappear the old wireframe. I think I want to just have my layers panel more clean, and I did that just so it's more organized. And here I press T on my keyboard, and now I'm typing the lead heading. Again, all this has been generated by ChatGPT, the content. So I'm just taking it and putting it here. And I'm gonna move that over there, drag it there, double click, and then change the font type. I'm gonna change the font size. What I'm doing over here is I'm holding Option and dragging that text, which allows me to create another text field, which I'm going to put the description that I've also generated from ChatGPT here. And then I'm doing the same thing again, options, holding Option and dragging, and now I am creating a CTA. I pressed Shift A onto that text to create an auto layout frame. Now I'm filling in that frame with a color, which I've also generated. So I'm just going to input in that value. There we go. I'm going to decrease the size of that. And then I'm going to go in, I think I'm going to change the padding here. Yeah, I'm going to do, I think 20 all around. There we go. I'm just changing the font weight of the CTA. So what I do here is I select the lead heading in the description, and I make that auto layout by pressing Shift and A and then giving the space in between 16. And then I take that and then I click on the CTA and I make that also an auto layout. And then I give that space in between 24. Then I fill in that frame with our dark blue color. Then I give a padding of 48 all around, as you can see. I'm just playing around with alignment here. And what I need to do over here is I need to fill container the frames that I have. So that's what I do over here. That should be good. Yeah, I'm just showing if you were to hug, that's how it's going to look like, as you can see. So yeah, you want to do that. And I think I just play around with the width here. I reduced that to 800, I think. What I'm doing here is aligning this by pressing Option and the keypad. So up, down, left, or right while holding Option. Now I'm renaming the layers. I'm going to rename this to CTA and this one as well. This helps organize the layers panel on the left hand side. It's always good to know which frames are what on the page. So here I am renaming the parent layer here to main. And now I'm going to select those two and right click and choose frame. And then I'm going to click on that and also rename that layer as well, just to stay organized. And that's going to be called a landing page. Now I'm going to go to the hero image. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to move it. Oh, okay. First, I'm going to go to the landing page. I'm going to fill in the color white, and then going to move the hero image into the landing page frame and then make it appear up top, as you can see. Now I'm going to go to this over here. I have these already cropped and pasted here. I'm just going to drag those out. Again, holding option and then dragging those. Does that. There we go. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to select all three, Shift A for auto layout frame, then I'm going to fill it in. I think I'm going to keep it white. I'm going to change the width to 1440 and then align middle just like that. Then I'm going to rename this frame. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that frame and move it into the landing page frame. As you can see, it goes all the way to the top, and I'm just going to press down on my keypad so it is below the image. What I did over there was I changed the spacing between a 64 on the landing page frame. So that adds some cushion in between sections. Now I press T on my keyboard and I am now typing in a heading, Y Lux Homes. Again, this is something I already have, so I'm just quickly doing that. I'm going to change the font type to Play Fair. Go. I'm going to change the font size. Going to go to the line height and make an auto. It was 30 for some reason. Let's just do that. Just type in auto and then it will automatically choose a line height. Then I go to the CTA, hold option, and then drag that out. And I'm going to change the font to join the list. Just going to go into that text field and just put in join the list. And now I'm going to create a line below Y. It's just for aesthetic reasons. So I create a line, make it 100 width, make the thickness 5, and then just make it round on both sides. And then I'm going to change the color to the same color as the CTA. There we go. So what I do here is select all three, make that a auto layout frame, Shift A, and I think I make the spacing between 32. I don't like it because they're both moving. So what I do here is I ungroup these. You can also do Control or Command Z, or you can right click and then ungroup. And then I select the heading and the line and make those a auto layout frame, again by Shift A, and then I take that frame and make the CTA an auto layout frame. That way I can control the movement of the button left or right, and I want it right in this case. Now I'm just renaming the frame. I think I like what I see, and then maybe I think I do. So now I press T on my keyboard again to input in the information. As you can see, I'm putting in 800 million plus. I hold Option, drag, and now I'm going to input in the description, which this is all generated from ChatGPT. I take those two and I press Shift A for auto layout frame, give the space between 8. I go to the I think I'm trying to align in the middle, but it's not working, and there's a reason for that. So I just go to the layout panel and click over there. That makes it go to the middle. I change the font size to 48, then the weight to bold. As you can see, it's a little squishy here, and I just go to the line height and make that auto. That fixes that. And now I'm going to take the frame and give it some padding. 24 left, right, up, bottom, 56. I'm gonna go to the fill section and fill it in with the dark blue. I'm gonna go to the text description and align it middle just so it looks better, and then Command D to duplicate it, and then I'm going to take those two, make that auto layout frame, and then give space between 16. Then I'm going to take that frame and then duplicate that. I'm going to take those two, select those, and then Shift A for auto layout and make that space in between 16 as well. There we go. So I take those two, the heading and CTA, and those 4 cards, make that into a auto layout frame, and I change the width to 1440, and as you can see, some of the frames are going over it, so I just have to go into the other frames to fill it in. So I'm going to be doing that, as you can see. So I go here, I make that fill, go to the other one, and I make all those fill. There we go. So I'm going to do that for the top row, and then I'm going to do that for the bottom row as well, so it fills into the frame. I'm now renaming the layers, so I'm naming that card 4, card 3, and this is going to be called card row, and then card 1, card 2, and then card row as well. Again, this is for organizational purposes. It helps keep the layer panel organized, and then you can go to exactly the frames that you want. So now I'm going to take the space in between those two frames and change, well, before I do that, I'm going to add padding on both sides, 64. Then I'm going to go to the space in between, and I'm just going to play around with it. I think I end up at 100. There we go. And then after that, I'm just going to drag that into the landing page frame. But before I do that, I'm going to name this frame as Y Lux Homes, which is the section here. And then I'm going to go and drag that into the landing page. And there we go. It's like that. I'm just going to press the D-pad down so it's below the branding section. And as you can see, the heading, there's not enough contrast. It's white on white. So I'm just going to go and give that a different color so it's visible. Here I am just adding information into the cards. I've generated this information from ChatGPT, so I'm just copying and pasting. For part 2 of this video, we'll add more sections to this landing page.